I love lever action rifles, but the steel right here, when you go to manipulate this with your hands, it digs into the back of your knuckles here where it's thin. So I always used to cut a piece of leather, punch holes in it, and I have thread and a little leather kit, and I would sew it on there. I didn't want to go to all that trouble this time, so I got on Amazon and I looked to see what I could find. Wayne's dog came up and I got 2 pieces of leather, and check this out. The back of the leather has a soft rubber pad on it. I got 2 needles and thread to install this. Let me show you guys how I put this on. The main thing I want to show you is how to end your stitching here. I've seen a lot of people do these videos, and the way they end the stitching, I don't really like that. So look at what you get. Look at that pad on there. Nice leather. Holes are pre-drilled. It's already curved on the end here, which is what you want. And when you cut it, you just round the ends off. You'll have to cut it to match yours. And I have already done one gun with it. So let's pull the piece out that I have left over. And I cut it in the center, and it worked out really good for me. So first thing let's trim our corners right here, because we don't want to use this. I don't want to eliminate that hole. I want to use that, but what I do want to do is take this little pair of scissors, a little hard to do on camera here, staying back, and I just want to round the edge off. That's all I want to do to it. I just don't want a sharp edge on this thing. And we're going to round this side off. That's pretty much it, okay? So now what I like to do is, see how they have all this extra here? I'm going to put this towards the front when I put it on and let the piece I cut end down here. So let's get our needles out and thread them. So he sends you 2 needles, and his thread comes like this, which is really nice. Now, I already used this one time, and I have my own thread, so I'm just going to break out some of my thread to use for this one. All right, so these needles are a little bit blunt. They can still stick you, so be careful with them, but they're a little bit blunt. They have a bigger eye hole here so you can thread them. And let me show you how to put thread on these needles. I've seen people pull the thread through and tie a bunch of knots in them. You really don't need to do that. Take your thread, flatten it out a little bit, and just slip it right through here, okay? Just a, well, try to do this where y'all can see. Just a little bit, and then grab it and pull it on through. Now, once you have it through, you're going to take your needle. Make sure you can see this. So take your thread. Don't do this too close to the end. Come back in here. Loosen your thread up. See how that loosens up right there? Now you can poke your needle right through here. Again, hard to do so that you guys can see. So see how my needle goes through the thread there? Now I can push that down. I want to pull it through. Now tighten it up, pull it all the way back, and then sit and tighten this up, okay? Now it pulls through and it gets nice and tight right there. You don't have to sew knots in it. That makes it a lot easier to go through your leather. So there's one end, so we just take the other end and we're going to thread our other needle. Don't snatch it and pull it here. Just get it snug, tug it into place. There's what we want. Put both needles together so that you have the same amount of string on each side. So what I'm putting this on is a G-Force 410 lever action shotgun. So it has a safety in the bottom down here. So you definitely don't want your leather getting in the way, so that can close and disengage the safety so the gun will fire. So we set it in there, and we're going to come from the outside and come through. We're going to come over here, and we're going to come from the outside and come back through. I'm keeping my needles level as we pull this in. All right, Keep your needles on the correct side. We want the underside needle to go out here, and we pull through from the outside. Stitch it across. Put our needle down. This one comes across, goes back through our hole, pulls back so our stitching stays on top. Now, we're going to take this side over here, come back up through it, and the same here. So there's our stitch we're going to use, and you just keep working that to the end, okay? Now, I'm going to move forward to the end because I'm here to show you how to end this stitch. There's plenty of videos out there on how to do this stitch. All right, so we get to the end. We just need to go back and tighten some of this stitching up. Just kind of pull it tight. Keep working it backwards. Now, whatever you do as you pull it tight, do not stick your needle through your thread. Make sure you're going under your thread, pulling it towards the rear. There we go. Looks like we got it close enough. We can put a little pressure on it now. Tighten our stitch up. Okay, we've got our wrap good and tight. Now, what I like to do here at the end is just make a couple passes through the end here, just to tighten this up. So I'm going through both holes here with this. Pull that nice and tight. All right, now to end it, we're just going to tie like a regular bow, just like you're tying your shoes here. I'm going to tie that in one time. Twice, then a third time. Now, I see a lot of people cut it and leave it hanging here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needles and I'm going to slide right up through here, and I'm just going to wiggle and find my way back out right here. See, I'm pulling my needle through. We're going to pull our thread, and then we're going to come back, not all the way. We're going to come back with our second needle. We're going to find our way through and come out the same location with our needle. Pull our needles. Now, we're going to hold our leather back here. We're going to pull that in nice and tight. Tuck that in. Let's put some pressure on it. Pull that up right there. We'll take our scissors and we're going to cut it off. And we're going to tuck that back in. Just kind of push it down, flatten it out. Now, your knot's tucked in here where it can't be seen, and the thread's up in here where it's trapped inside the leather. And that is how you end your thread. These look great on your guns. They're very effective, very efficient. And this Wayne's dog, I'm telling you, is amazing with this rubber pad that comes on it. You get two pieces, so I'm going to do 3 guns. I've got a big loop for this one. So I cut this one in half, and I did a 30-30 lever action that I had. Now I've done this one with the other half, and then I'll get a third gun out of the same kit for $14. And these things are super soft on the back of your knuckles as you operate the lever action on your gun. So I hope you might have learned something, a new tip or trick or technique to putting these on your guns. And remember, folks, be a responsible adult. Don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks and gun safes. Till next time, folks, take care.